Okay, I heard the clock tolled, so we'll call the Town of Somerville Planning Commission for May 15th, 2023 to order. The first order of business will be the minutes from our meeting of April 17th, 2023. Are there any additions or corrections to those as they were sent out? Hearing none, we'll accept them as delivered. Next are public hearings. The first I propose, since staff reported on these as a unit, that we address them in their totality rather than two individual actions, if that's approvable by the commission.
To address them as a unit, you said?
Yeah, and rather than two separate actions. Is that all right with everyone?
Fine.
Okay, so they are the request to rezone TMS number 13014130009 located at 715 West 5th North Street, approximately 0.22 acres owned by Thomas A. Limehouse, from neighborhood mixed use to urban corridor mixed use in Council District 1, and the request to rezone TMS numbers 13014130007 and 008, located at 100 Northampton Street and 711 West 5th North Street respectively, totaling approximately 1.1 acres and owned by Willie S. Limehouse, from neighborhood mixed use to urban corridor mixed use, Council District 1. See, Mr. Limehouse is here. You want to tell us about this, Tom?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm here seeking a little relief. This property is located near Austin School on what was originally, I know it goes back 40 plus years, it's the Hoover Chrysler was located there. And prior to that was Hoover's predecessor. I remember I lived in the neighborhood behind it. There was always automotive. I'm at fault. I missed the down zone. And my mother, I wasn't managing her two properties at that time, but I am now. Hers is still being used automotive. The property to the left of us is being used automotive. I have here a plat. It's not recorded. That broke. Shows my property. And while I hope that these properties will one day come together, I hope that my mother doesn't pass anytime soon, and I hope that, you know, with my brother, I dare not speak for him, so this can end up another way. So her automotive use, I know is grandfathered, and that I can continue on with it when the current tenant moves, and that we will be sure that we don't get caught in the time running. The tenant I had in my little facility was doing a tire repair shop, and I think there was a typo on the staff's report saying that the property ceased in March of 2023. That was March of 2022. They left hundreds of used tires. And if you've tried to get rid of used tires, you can't haul them yourself. Finding somebody who's licensed is a chore. And it took over 90 days to get rid of the tires. By then, the bloom was off the rose as far as the zoning. Those properties there for a half century have been automotive use. The list of uses under the current, is it NMX?
Yeah. Yeah, neighborhood mixed use.
As I look along 78 there, multifamily and townhomes are not going to work. Group homes, obviously on this lot, this less than 0.22 acres. Bed and breakfast, short-term rental, a bank or a credit union, business support services. I've got the definition, but that's a rather limited category. You can't get in and out of it hardly, which is medical, their professional services, art and dance studio, can do a restaurant, but you've got no parking. If you look at the way it's laid out, there's probably a maximum of 8 spaces. And that is subject to change when and if 78 ever gets widened there. Supposedly we've got the money. I don't know what the effect is going down the road. We'd like to maximize the use. We hope somebody comes along and views the entire track as better. But we're going to keep the tenants in her place because it's a 3-bay auto garage with parking. It's been car dealership nonstop. The other things under the current zoning are daycare, educational campus, group homes, and commercial child care center, and a roadside stand. My understanding of the current zoning was because the homes were to the rear and they wanted a walkable community, there've been no sidewalks installed by the town. And I think the town, at least through what was on the website, has seen fit to amend the UDO. And I think the last date it had was 2022, 120 sometimes. So I don't want to think that that is the Bible that is not subject to a little change. Council's already seen the error of their ways more than once on this. I've got my one out parcel in the middle that's too small to do anything but automotive related, that is practical, the traffic in and out, because with automotive related, one car comes in, the people go out, and it's less use. And there's a need, if you want to make the argument, the people in Robin Wynn and Brownsville need to repair their cars more than the people who can take it to Baker Cadillac. They're not under warranty. Some of those people need something that's much more affordable and close. If there's another idea, I'm here asking for this relief, but I'm open for any suggestions because I'm in a bind. And you have any questions?
Okay.
No, I don't. That we've had some people talk to us, but with the timetable this takes, I didn't want to sign anybody up. I've had people approach me about another tire shop. Understand, I'm a little sore off of the last one and I don't really care to relive that. We've had some automotive repair shops reach out to us. That's what I would expect.
So all of the approaches in the interim have been automotive related.
There was one effort that was made. A young lady who was a realtor came and she said she had done her due diligence and I didn't study it. And she wanted to try to do a vape store or a retail that had a vape aspect. She rented it for a couple months and then said the town wouldn't let her, that for whatever reason. So
Close to the school, too close to the school. Yeah.
I assume that's what it was.
And if I understand your opening statement, this property has been automotive related for at least 40 or possibly 50 years
Or longer.
or longer. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if we were to amend it, it wouldn't change any prior use of the property going back to at least a half a century.
Correct. If you made the change, the one thing under the new zoning that would be allowed that jumped at me, not so much on mine, but on my mother's, would be that you could do a bar or nightclub. But I believe under the laws in South Carolina, you can't really do a bar because all the bars are supposed to be restaurants. Your food sales are always supposed to exceed your bar revenue. I don't think it's strictly enforced, so I'm not really sure what the classification difference is there. But we have no plans to put a restaurant or a bar out there.
I believe the school would shut that down too.
Yeah, being the proximity of the school may prohibit is that true, Jesse?
We don't.
So they could, I mean, theoretically, somebody could open up a bar across the street from a school.
I told them, the town does it.
Okay.
Gotta be 500 feet.
Oh, state law. Okay, thank you.
Yes, and we would be a block down with that one, but again,
Mhm.
we've engaged in no discussions with anybody because we envision it.
Okay,
I promise you, my mother's will stay automotive use. If I've got to open one myself in the interim until I find a tenant.
thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you, sir. Since there's no one else here, we'll close the public hearing and move on to new business. Any new street names? Shucks. All right, then there being no new street names, we are looking at the request to rezone TMS number 13014130009, located at 715 West Fifth North Street, approximately 0.22 acres. Owned by Thomas A. Limehouse, from neighborhood mixed use to urban corridor mixed use, Council District 1. And the request to rezone TMS numbers 13014130007 and 008, located at 100 Northampton Street and 711 West Fifth North Street respectively, totaling approximately 1.1 acres and owned by Willie S. Limehouse, from neighborhood mixed use to urban corridor mixed use, Council District 1. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I meant to discuss this in the vote here. Thomas, are you all gonna be losing any frontage when the 78 comes through there? How much that take away from?
So I could hear, got that here.
On the, when the 78 comes through down that way, they will take any frontage off of you, far off of you?
Think they will, but I've not seen any plans in years, and I requested DOT to give me what they had here a year ago, and they told me they weren't ready to release anything. But I've not updated it in the past year, but I think there's good probability they will.
Well, you got school on one side, they won't get it on that side.
Well, on the other side, I'm not more catty corner from school, half a block down from that. So we're back closer, across from us, I believe there's a little road, some townhouses, and another building that is being converted, I think, to an office. But there's a great probability they are going to cut some off, and in which case we'll have to, I hope I can negotiate with my mother to get access to her property.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would normally not be in favor of this because it's against our proposed UDO zoning here. But given the fact that the adjacent property continues to be automotive based, and the history of the property, given that it's has been automotive based all along, then I support changing the zoning for these two parcels to make them conforming with the previous use and conforming with the adjacent property's use here. And I believe in this neighborhood, it's been long practice to have automotive industries in this area. And it also is a need for the community to have this type of business nearby. So those are my reasons for supporting this.
All right. Anybody else? And then I will call for the question. All in favor of recommending approval on this action, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. It's unanimous. And believe that concludes our business unless you have something else, Jesse. I will say that, we did get a list for those of you that may still need, CE units for the year. That list was, readily usable. It was sent out. I went to, I don't even, I'd have to look at the list again, but it was one of the government entities. And actually they had one, session that I was interested in that covered my entire 3 hours. So I encourage everybody to make that happen. And after that, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.